Good afternoon, class.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Miss.
Okay, now
Good afternoon, Miss.
the schedule of your midterm will be on April 1 and 2, and that is Friday, Saturday. So since our,
Next week, want to Miss?
yes, since our, since the schedule of the midterm test will be Friday, Saturday, so I will be giving you your midterm on Wednesday, March 30. Kay, after the midterm, we have mga good, what is this? We are given only 10 days for the computation of the grades because there is a deadline for the midterm grade. So, if we will have it next week pa, makuhaan na akong 10 days kay your test will be Friday, Saturday. Now,
Uh,
since,
Question, Miss.
yeah,
Sa coverage sa kwan, Miss,
wala pa
midterm?
kay ko makahumag istorya.
Sorry, Miss.
Your lesson.
Okay, Miss.
Sige. So, kinahanglan karong Wednesday na ko ihatag kay Friday, Saturday man ang schedule. So, if I will have it Monday, Wednesday pa, kuhaan na to akong pag-prepare sa grado. Now, for your midterm, since you are required to submit your permits in a 30, kaya wala di pa man a schedule, I will just let everybody take the test. And then, next week, Monday, Wednesday, during our class, pwede na mo mag-submit sa inyong permit. It is up to the time nga before I will submit the grades. So, I will just remind you that because if you have no permit, diba, you are not allowed to take the test. I will just allow you to take the test, but then I will wait for you since we have a deadline for the submission of the grade. Kung dili pa mo makasubmit sa inyong permit and it is already submission of the grade sheets, dili na ko i-appeal inyong pangan if you have no permit. But then ang inyong test na record sa akong class record, so that I will not be kanang making another test for those who were not able to take the test. So pending na nako kung dili pa mo makasubmit sa permits. So you will have enough time because I will just tell you as to when I will submit the grades. We do not know pa our deadline. Now so is that clear to everybody? On Wednesday I will give the test. Then you can submit your permits after na
Yes.
next week. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Any question with that? Wala na. Kay kung unya next week pa late na tayo kita inyo mag-check pa ko daghan ba yun. Di ba yun asa yung checkan inyong papel inyong attachment kay daghan. So para maka-check na ko during the time nga kuan. Wala na kuan klaro na nga mag-test midterm on Wednesday. Now I check your coverage will be normal distribution only. I check your attachment last time in the assignment. There were some who did not place the diagram. Di man na mahimo go dili mag-diagram kay because you cannot imagine your answer as to where is the position of your answer because it's normal distribution. You should know how to make the diagram with respect to the placement of the mean or standard deviation at the center and the location of the points given in your problem. So naadunay adunay kanang diagram itong bell shape. And another thing is when I check your paper, there were some who have the diagram. Wala man taon gi-shade. Uy. So if you did not shade the part that was given in the test or in the assignment, how will I know nga you know how to locate it? O pila ra gyud pagkimos bell shape din wala na nothing. So you're just making a drawing of a person without anything, walay ilong, walay ba wala tanan. So you should complete it with respect to what is given and identify the position where you are placing it with the values before you will have to give your final answer. Dili kitagaan lang ko ninyo answer, walay diagram gyud sa kani pagkuha no.
Excuse me.
Now your test your assignment last time was only what is this kanang direkta ra to dili kayo kuan I will give you two problems now as another extension of the samples that we had in your assignment and what I had discussed last time. This time, it will be a worded problem again. Then you will have to identify the given and then make a diagram after you will have your computations so that I will know whether you know what you are doing. Now, there was one problem in your assignment where it was just to most likely, it was an example, one of the examples. You are not going to get the, what is this? The example for the most likely, what you will get from the table is already the answer. The same as what we had before. But then there were some with that number, gihimuan man hinuon og unsa to, I don't know, the same as the other questions. So you should be aware of unsay gihatag nga question mo usad anto imo i-follow nga answer. So issue i-share screen ako ang problem. Let's discuss only two. I-share screen ako ang problem. Kay mawagtang man yan na. So i-screenshot ninyo before we'll discuss para you can read what you had screenshot and then you can follow up as to how we will solve it. Is that clear to everybody? Kaya i-share screen ako niya. Screenshot na lang ninyo. Okay, so you wait. O, screenshot o na ng problem before we'll analyze. So we will solve first the first problem. Screenshot kay ikaw kay we'll have the solution. I-screenshot na para you will have your own copy. Kag wala na nako makuan sa LMS kay nag on and off ang wifi since Saturday. Kanina pa ni agabi pa ni naulian. Okay, we have number 2 ha because we had number 1 before as our example. A radar is used to measure speeds of cars on a motorway. The speeds are normally distributed, so it is stated na normally distributed. So what you will have will be a bell curve with a mean of 90 kilometers per hour and a standard deviation of 10 kilometers per hour. What is the probability that a car pick? Hindi na tumago i-share screen ang solution. Oh, hindi naman tumagi yung dalitan mo. Okay, so the problem on a radar, if you will identify what is given, you have there a radar is used to measure speeds of cars on a motorway. The speeds are normally distributed with a mean of 90 kilometers per hour. That is the given mean. That is the mu. And a standard deviation of 10 kilometers per hour. What is the probability that a car picked at random is traveling at more than 100 kilometers per hour? So the problem is that we are going to find the probability x. So we are going to find the probability of x that is higher than 100 because we are given 90. We are given a mean of 90 kilometers per hour and 10 it's a standard deviation of 10 kilometers per hour. But the problem is asking for a car picked at random that is traveling more than 100 kilometers per hour. So therefore, you are going to determine that x is higher than 100 kilometers per hour, or if you will represent it, your p, then you will have x greater than 100. Is that clear to everybody? But we are given 90 kilometers per hour. So your probability of p, that is x greater than 90, will be equivalent to the probability of x that is greater than 1 or 100. To determine the probability of the car that is selected at random at a speed greater than 100 kilometers per hour, you are going to get first the z-score. the z-score of your given value, given problem. So if you are going to draw it, you draw you draw your bell shape. You draw your bell shape, and then you get the z-score. How will you get your z-score? That is mu minus the x, the value of x minus the mu all over the standard deviation. What is the answer for your z-score? Because you cannot locate it in your graph unless you will have the value of your z-score. Okay, had you drawn the bell-shaped graph? Or i-draw ninyo una kay para atong ma-imagine. Do you have the bell shape na diagram? Wa man ta pag imo mong bell shape wala may ni kuan ay wala naman ni ubang.
Wait sa miss, di mo pa ko miss nag-prepare ko.
Oh. And then when you will have your bell shape, ibutang na ninyo ang inyong mean which is to be at the center or your standard deviation para it will be easy for you to identify your solution. So the first step is to solve for the z-score and then your graph. Nga, bell shape lang una pa magbutang sa graph. So ang inyong z will be your x minus mu or x minus bar x. That is, your x is 100 minus your mu which is 90 kilometers per hour all over the standard deviation of 10. So those are your given values. So, z-score pila una bi z-score.
Kuan miss.
Pila is z-score? 100 minus 90 all over 10. Pila mo kasayon ano eh?
84134.
1 miss.
Kinsa tin
1 miss.
kay Bolante
1 miss, 1 miss on this score.
1 miss.
Bolante an Kayla, Espinosa. 1 ra oy, wa pagay ko mangayo sa kuan Mag-una manggud mo good.
Oh, sorry miss.
Mag-una mo. O pagay ta sa butang mo tus tumba ba gitonan ninyo. Okay, so you have Bolante and Espinosa. So the answer is 1 mo na answer sa kuan inyong z-score. Now after you place first your kuan bell shape. Ang inyong center will be your mu, so that is 90 and 10 standard deviation. So pareha lang sa una na itong mag-solve. Ibutang sa ibabaw lang to ang mean 90. Nya sa ubos lang ang 10 para sayo ninyo makita ninyo ang duha. Nga of which both are at the center of the graph, right? Para ma-picture ninyo ang inyong answer nga kuan. So if you will have your mean as 90 and then ang your x is asa man ang inyong x nga 100. To the right of 90 or to the
right.
left of 90? Or to the right, mo na inyo, ma-picture na niyo to the right kay 100 man. Nga ang atong middle 90. And then, ang sa ubos, ang standard deviation ni mo 10. So, before we will have that one, so you had already identified that your 100 is to the right. Ang kanang z is equal to 1. So, meaning that you will have to get first the value of your 1. So, pila ma ang value sa inyong 1?
0.84134 miss.
Okay, so that is 1 from the table is, can something answer ani?
Avenido.
0. Abinido. So, the value of your z, which is equal to 1, is
0.8434.
8413. Oh, okay, 0.8413. Now, if you will locate that 0.8413, asa man na siya dapita? To the right of the middle or to the left? Ang 0.813, remember that kung ang inyong standard deviation gali dili din 10 sa ubos yung is your standard deviation is 0 always at the center. Kung nanaw ninyo ang inyong ang placement ba. So your center of the bell shape is 0 for standard deviation, then your mean is 90. So if you will have your standard deviation 0 at the center, to the right is +1, +2, +3. There is a PCAS -1, -2, -3 sa inyong bell shape. So asa man na malocate ang 0.84? To the right of, what is this? To the right or to the left of the center? Ang inyong value.
To the right, Miss.
Okay,
Yes.
right. So we have still
Right.
Abinino and Fernandez. To the right. Kanang pag-locate ninyo, before na siya sa +1, ha? Kay 0.8 rago, di ba? So before yun na siya sa +1. So if you will locate that, nya ipasaka ninyo ana mo coincide ni na siya sa 100 kaya ato man lagi butang sa ibaba ang 90, di ba? 100 mo coincide na siya. So if you are going to get the probability na greater na siya sa 100 kilometers per hour, so to get your probability of x greater than 90, that is equal to probability of x greater than 1. So ang atong kuan ana is total area. Pila may total area ng bell shape, di ba? 1. So ang total area of the bell shape is equivalent to 1, right? Unya ang kanang imong 0.8, which is the equivalent of the 100, location of the 100. So that will be total area 1 minus the 0.8413 minus kay ang total area man nya gikwaan nimo siya og kanang part gikan sa left so because that will be subtracted from the total area 1 in order to get the probability that it has a speed greater than 100 kilometers per hour. So the total area 1 minus your 0.8413, pila may answer?
0.158.
0.1857.
Okay,
158.
0.1587.
6 Miss pero around 158.
So we have Nemeria and Mercado, si Abinido, perbila ning apil, ang mora tinig ng mata. So we have an additional is Mercado and Nemeria. So, unsa man ninyo pag-interpret ana? It is the probability that a car selected at random has a speed greater than 100 kilometers per hour is equal to 0.15987 or it is equivalent to 15.98%. Do you understand? So it can be in terms of decimal or it can be in terms of percentage. Okay, we'll go to the... Did you get it? The rest of the class. 15 po ang 0.1587. Is that the value?
Yes, Miss.
Okay, zero. Punan man ako ngayon. 0.1587. Okay. So, that is how you will get that for the problem. Now, we will go on to the next problem. The length of a similar component produced by a company is approximated by a normal distribution, again, with a mean of 5 centimeters and a standard deviation of 0.02. So, nakaibaw naman sa inyong paagi, ha? You'll have to get the z-score, then you will have to draw para you can see as to whether you will have to subtract it or what. Then we have what is the probability that the length of this component is between 4.98 and 5.02 centimeters. Then letter B, what is the probability that the length of this component is between 4.96 and 5.04 centimeters? So in letter A, you will have the condition that it is between 4.98 less than x less than 5.02. In letter B, it is 4.96. The probability is 4.96 less than x less than 5.04. Parehas lang ng A ug B, only nagdiferensya lang sila values. So how will you interpret this one? What will be your probability? How will you solve? So again, you will get your what? You will get the z-score for this. Is a normal distribution with a mean of 5 centimeters and a standard deviation of 0.02. If a component is chosen at random, what is the probability that the length of this component is between 4.98 and 5.02? So you will have to consider the two when you make your z-score or when you solve for your z-score. How will you do it? What will be the first step? So sa z-score o na ta, anyway, you know your mean and your standard deviation. So again, if you will have your bell-shaped graph, we'll have in the first condition, ang atong mean, ang ibutan nato lang sa ibabaw, our given mean is 5 centimeters. Ibabaw lang na. Yeah, so down here is the standard deviation of 0. Para it will be easy for you to look at the value. So, what will be your z-score? How will you solve for your z-score? Ang z-score is the value minus or the sample minus the mu or the mean all over the standard deviation. So how will you solve it for your z? You will solve for your z in terms of what? In between ba yan na that the length of that is what the probability that the length of this component is between 4.98 and 5.02. So asa man na siya? How will you make your one? How will you make your probability or how will you represent your z-score if the values are between two numbers? How will you solve for your z-score so that you can see and locate it in your bell shape?
Kuan miss kanang solve sa area.
Oh yeah, will you solve lagi sa ang z-score una unsa man yung pag-solve sa z-score for letter A? Kay unsa man niyo kung wala mo yung z-score? Nga mao man na inyo ikuan dito probability ninyo.
Z-score sa 5.02 means is
Sa 5.02?
means i-minus sa 4.98 na z-score.
Then sa kanpod miss 5.04 then minus ang siya sa 5 pud.
Yeah, pila man inyo makuha?
Ay sa miss wala pa miss na compute pa.
0.6826 means.
Ang 5.02 o ang 4.98 pila makuha ninyo nga z?
0.6826.
Nga di ko kadungog bulante. Louder.
0.6826 means.
6826 ang value naman ni ang kanang z kuan ba z-score bayon sa man 5.02 o 4.98 gi-minus ninyo then divide by what?
Negative 1 and 2 ang z-score sa kuan miss sa first miss.
Tempa sa ang libog na noon mo. Tagays ako sa z-score ha, sa z-score sa number 1 payon sa inyo gi-minus para maklaro.
Sa 5.02 means is ang z-score is 1.
Ang 5.02
Z-score kay 1.
minus pila man atong kuan ani man tong mean is 5 all over pila yung standard deviation 0.02 standard deviation of 0.02. So this is equal to minus 1 or 1. Ang given man x nimo is 5.02 minus the mu given 5 centimeters. So that will give us all over 0.02 as a standard deviation. So 5.02 minus 5, positive man na siya. Uy. So that is 0.02. Yeah, 0.02, that is equivalent to 1, di ba?
Yes, miss.
Oh, dili kay minus 1. Okay, and the
Ang
other
sa
one.
4.98, miss ba, is negative 1. Minus
Oh, ang
1.
sa 4.98. So because that will be 4.98 minus 5, right?
Yes, miss.
Oh, mao na siya ka ng negative. So what is the answer? Minus 1. Uy.
Yes, miss.
Oh, minus 1. Paglaro mo eh. So that is Avenido. Okay. After getting that one, unsaon man ninyo pag-represent ang letter A? So to get the probability nga it is 4.98 less than x less than 5.02, ang inyong representation ana will be the probability. So that probability of 4.98 less than x less than 5.02, ang right side ana niya sa equation will be P, the probability of P less than 1, that is less than Z because that is the Z score, then we have less than positive 1. That is the representation. So if you will have that representation of the probability that it is minus 1 less than Z less than positive 1, ang inyong value sa kuan ani, pila may answer ninyo ani? Sa katong value ani sa 1.
Mga value sa 1, miss, kay kuan, miss, 0.8413. Then sa negative 1 kay kuan.
Ano mo parehas mo nag-value siguro?
Parehara.
Kay kuan man na siya kanang equal man on both sides. It's equal on both sides. Center ang 0, then you have positive to the right and negative to the left. So unsa man? What is the value of 1? Naman ito nihatag gani nag-answer. Uy, nga. Ba pa kumangayo.
0.8413, miss.
Dili, uy.
Ang Z-score sa 4.98, miss.
Oo.
Negative 1, miss.
Negative 1 lagi. Ang ato na nakuha ito sa table. Kaya, ang probability ninyo for the Z-score is, probability of minus 1 less than the Z-score, kaysa Z-score man na, di man na X, less than Z, less than positive 1. Kaya mao man na ito nakuha ang answer. Minus 1 o minus 1, di ba? So,
Yes,
ang sa 5.02, mao tong positive 1. Ang sa kuan, ang sa 4.98, mao tong negative 1. So, therefore, inyong kuan ana, value sa table, pila man? Sa 1.
Sa 1 ra, miss?
Oo.
Okay, miss, 0.8413.
0.8 mo di man. Ang minus 1.
Ang sa minus 1 kay 1. Negative 1 kay 0.1587.
0.0
0.1587.
0.01587. Kaganina pila to? 0.8. Pila ito yung kaya na sa 1?
413.
0.8. 413?
Yes, miss.
Ano ko no? Di man. Ang iyang area 1, so that is where you will locate your, what is this Ang area niyang 1 sa 5.02, so if you will have it as 1, positive 1 to the right, igbutan ninyo dito sa ibabaw mo na sa 5.02, right? Ato lang ibutan ng 5.02 sa ibabaw. And then, ang usa is -1, di ba? Sa z-score.
Yes.
So, gikan sa center, you will have +1. Then, we have here -1 sa left. So, adto na ninyo ibutang ang inyong 4.98. Did you get it? Para matanaw ninyo. So, you're in your bell shape, butangan niyo sa center og 0 sa ubos, which is equivalent to the center at the top, which is the mean nga 5 centimeters. Are you following? So 0 diri sa ubos sa horizontal sa bell shape. Sa ibabaw lang nato ibutang atong mean nga 5 centimeters. If we are going to locate our +1 nga answer sa z-score, ipasaka na ninyo sa ibabaw dito sa peak, mao to sa equivalent nga 5.02 centimeters. Are you following? If you are going to yes. If you are going to place the -1, allocate the -1 left of the 0 at the center, ipasaka sa inyo vertical line padung sa ibabaw, that is your 4.98. Right?
Yes, miss.
Oh. So, ang nahitabo ana, ang kanang 4.98 to the 5.02, kana siya mo ina-involve nga area. So, unsaon man ninyo pagkuha sa probability nga ang kuan niya, ang what is the probability nga it is between 4.98 and 5.02. So, ang inyong ibutang ana is your probability of -1, kato ni coincides for 4.98, and then less than the z, less than +1. So, nakita naman ninyo ang position, unsaon man yung pagkuha na nga kuan, probability. Nakita na ninyo ang nakuan ninyo nga position. So, if you had taken the value of +1 as 0.015, unsaon man na ninyo pagkuha in terms of the position of the, gikan sa pikas, naasan mo, ang gi-shade ninyo ana ang 4.98 man o ang 5.02 sa inyong kuan. Unsaon man ninyo pagkuha in terms of the value na from the table. Pila may maresulta ana?
.6
No,
0.6826.
dili. Ang resulta na gyud. Pila may probability? Pila man tanawan ninyo ang gikuan lagi?
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
Pila na?
Compute pa, miss.
Anybody has the answer? Kana kung correct na itong inyong -1 nga value, I will show you the diagram para everybody will know how to analyze.
Sige, miss. Miss, kanang 0.3413, sakto ba? Or dili?
Dili. Time pa sa
Dili, miss.
ikuan sa nako i-share screen sa atong diagram kay uban basit wala ka mauli naka-picture.
Sige, miss. Thank you, miss.
Ilagay ito iwan ninyo sa kuan Z table, o Z score ninyo ng table.
8413.
0.84
13. Sorry, miss. 0.8413.
0.8413 mo to iwan. Oh, share screen. Di ba maon ay diagram?
Yes, miss. Sakto, miss.
Tanawa na, i-cancel na out na nako. Di ba maon ay diagram? So, you have the answer for your Z score is 1 for 5.02. And then, ang imong answer sa kuan 4.98 is minus 1, right? So, how will you get the answer for the probability that it will be between the two, 4.98 to 5.02?
Kani, miss. 0.6826. Dili sad siya.
0.68.
26.
Oh, mauna.
Amo na. Lagi, miss.
So,
So,
how
para
did
siya,
you-
miss. Kanang, di ba above mo ng 1 sa kuan, miss, 50, miss?
Yeah,
0. So,
0.5. So,
0.8413 sa positive 1, minusan siya sa kuan, di ba kanang 0 nga kuan mean is
Oo.
50 man na siya,
yeah,
minusan siya
0.5, 1/2.
0.500, oo.
And then,
Kanang sa negative 1 sad, so negative man siya, so below ang kaning kuan ang value nga point, saan siya? Sa pila sa kuan sa negative 1.
pila to yung negative 1 ninyo? Ang negative 1 is pila yung value?
Sa miss, wala miss. Kung si table
Kung
diri.
magtanaw og table. Ang negative 1 is pila to yung value?
Wala ko si table. Pila ito yung value, guys.
Yeah. Ano nakakuha mo ka sa 0.68 at 68%? How did you get
Sa
it?
miss, nawala akong kuan si table ng good miss.
Sa kabita ko, hindi na ako magtanaw-tanaw kay kapoy, mawagtang sad. Kapoy kay sab-usab.
Yes, miss. Yes, miss. So, kuan miss, ang value sa negative 1 is kuan man 0.1587. So, ang
0.1?
50,
Pila? 0.1?
0.1587.
587. Kawa ko yung value sad, kawa ko magtanaw.
Yes,
And
miss.
then,
So, yes, miss. So, ang, di ba, ang 50, so below man siya sa
oh,
50, so minusan siya sa
minus.
1.587. So, ang value sa niya is 0.3414 sa sa negative 1.
Pwede
And
say
the
man.
positive 1 is 0.3414. So, imo
So,
siyang
that is
i-convert. So,
0.68 to 6. Right?
Yes, miss. Yes, miss.
Oh. So, mabito ng tanaw ninyo sa inyong kuan, tanaw ninyo sa inyong graph, kung haron makita ninyo kung unsaon ninyo pagkuha sa value. So, kay ang 5.02 is to the right because it coincides with the plus 1 of your z-score. Nya, inyong 4.92 is to the left because it is kuan ka ng to the left of the z, because the minus 1 is to the left of 0. Now, you know that the area gikan sa center is 0.5, right? So, if you will get the value of your 1, positive 1, you have 0.8413. But then that area is nakuha diha sa 0.5, di ba? If you will look at the center. So, ang imong 0.5, Ang imong 0.8 gikuhaan na siya. So you will subtract the 0.5 from the 0.8, so you will get it 0.3413. Ang sa pica side, sa DS pica side, which is 0.15 to 87, then i-minus na siya, you will have it as 3.43. Then you are going to get the 2, ang area sa duha, so you will have it is because it is between, you will get it as 6.6826 or 68%. So that will be more or less the same as letter B. Only you will have it as 4.96 less than X less than 5.04. But if you will go again to the Z-score, where na yung Z-score will be 4.96 minus 5 all over, that is standard with 10. Yung pagkahumanasad, ang inyong 5.04 minus 5 na standard, ang mean, all over 10. So what you will get here for letter B is minus 2 less than Z less than positive 2. Kaya inyong Z-score ani is, ang 5.04 is plus 2, ang 4.96 is minus 2. Di ba? So in your letter B, ang probability niya will be, ang probability ninyo nga 4.96 less than X less than 5.04 will be equal to the probability nga ang iyang Z-score will be minus 2 less than Z less than 2. O parehas just ganina, pero ang iyang Z-score value is kuan lang ka ng positive 2 and negative 2. So what will be the probability if you will have this na nga minus 2 less than Z less than positive 2? Pila may iyang probability? So if you will locate it, it will be located at minus 2 and positive 2 with a value of 4.96 and 5.04. So what will be the answer?
95 point...
Murata, pila imong answer?
Kuan miss, 95.44%.
Okay. 95 up
95.44%.
44, 94. 95, 94? Okay,
44.
anyway, guys. Okay. So, but then my answer is 9.95.
Kuan, kung may decimal miss kay 0.9544.
Okay.
Ah.
Okay, basta 95%. So, we have Marata. Okay, that is the answer for letter B. That is 95%. And letter A is 68%. Wala na tayo lang problem. Napay number 4. Look at number 4. Unsa number 4, number 3. Number 4. The length of life of an instrument produced by a machine has a normal distribution with a mean of 12 months and a standard deviation of 2 months. Find the probability that an instrument produced by this machine will last less than 7 months, between 7 and 12 months. Ang kanang between 7 and 12 months, kung parehas na ninyo og solve sa kuan katong number 3 nga, between. Ang kanang less than 7 months, how will you represent that less than 7 months? Your X will be what? How will you represent? Kanang ay na lang ng letter B kay pare-parehas nagway sa pag-solve sa between. So how will we represent? We'll get the Z-score first of number 4. So ang Z-score, kalitan sa less than 7 months. So ang atong presentation ani is P, probability of X less than 7 months. So we will get the Z-score first. Pila may Z-score, pila may kuan na. Ang iyang kuan given is 7 minus pila may mean ani? Minus 12 all over. Ang standard deviation niya is 2. So 7 minus 12, 5 all over 2. Is that correct?
Negative 2.5.
It is minus 2.5.
2.5.
Okay, minus 2.5. So what is the value of your Z, probability of Z, probability of X less than 7, that will be equal to the probability of Z less than minus 2.5. Mao na inyong probability nga kuan. representation. So if you will draw the figure, if you will draw and locate your 7, we have here the bell shape. Ang yang mean is 12. 12 na center, 12 sa ibabaw. Dan ibutang nato there is a equivalent standard deviation 0. So where is your minus 2.5? To the right or to the left of the center of the 0?
To the left of
To the left,
center.
talangan man kay we have minus 1, minus 2, so it is between 2 and 3, minus 2 and 3. You will have the minus 2.5, and if you will place it on top, that is equivalent to your 7 months, right? So pila may value ninyo sa inyong minus 2.5? Pila may value sa inyong minus 2.5?
Uh, 0.00621, miss.
Okay, kinsa answer Murata?
Murata,
So
miss.
the value of minus 2.5 is 0.0062. And then what will you do? Is that already the answer, or you will subtract it from the one? From the, what is this? From the 0.5 or the 1 or what? Is that already the answer? B, what is your decision? Look at your bell curve. Ang imong ang peak is, ang mean niya is 12. Ang equivalent ana diri sa ubos is 0. So, since it is negative 2.5, you will look at the values on the left, minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. You locate the minus 2.5, and then it goes up, you will place the 7, which is the given 7 months, less than 2.5. So, is that already the answer, or you will subtract it from the 0.5?
I-subtract lang isa.
Ha? Dili na, oy, kay less than 7 months. Really the problem, be? Find the probability that an instrument produced by this machine will last less than 7 months. So, kung i-subtract nimo, dili na kay less than 7 months. So, inig-draw ninyo sa 2.5, i-locate niyo sa 2.5, pa-draw ninyo sa ibabaw, 7 nimo ibutang, di ba? 7 and 12, mauna. Had you seen it? Tanawa ko na inyong drawing. Lagi na, di mag-draw. So, 0 sa center. Ang atong tanawon, ang minus 1 nga standard deviation sa left, minus 2 nga standard deviation, minus 3 nga standard deviation. Ang atong 2.5 is between minus 2 and minus 3, right?
Yes, miss.
Okay. So, ibutangan ninyo vertical padong sa ibabaw, or malocate ninyo, mubutangan ninyo 7. Unya, ang sa ibabaw, anak 12, kay mao to may mean. Ang problem, di mo gumbasa sa problem. Find the probability that an instrument produced by this machine will last less than 7 months. So, kanang gamay nga part sa kuan, mauna na siya less than 7 months. So, ang imong answer, mauna na. 0.00, pila na? 0.00...
621.
6.2. Mauna, dili na ninyo isubtract kay less than 7 months. So, it is to the left of the 7 months. Did you get it? Maulagin tanawon lagi ninyo sa kuan. Yung sa problem sad. It's less than 7 months. May tag 7 months more, ana. So, ang kana ikaduha kay between man na, that is just the same way as how you did it with minus 1, less than z, less than 1, minus 2, less than z, less than 2. Kaya kana siya, kung parehas naman ang problem between 7 and 12 months. So, ang inyong tanaw na ang 7 months o ang 12 months between the two. Nga tanaw ninyo ang unsay inyong na-shadean. So, that is how you will get the probability. This will be your test, ha? So, be sure that when you will have the test on Wednesday, kinahanglan inyo i-diagram lagi. Kaya haron, I can see, makita sa ninyo, whether you are going to subtract it from the area, or you are going to add it, or what, depending upon the problem and depending upon the position of the points with respect to their standard deviation in your diagram. Dili kay mo diretso lang mo og minus nga maski dili nagkinahanglan. So your test will be like this one, worded problem, and obviously I will never check an answer or solution without the diagram. Kaya dili maglisod tag answer ani kun maka-check ko up to the z-score, pwede ra na nako. Pero after the z-score, kinahanglan maguna ibutang sa inyong kuan before you can solve for the probability. So kung inyo ibutang z-score, may lang nagna 2 points or what? But then you should complete your solution with respect to the diagram and the value from the table. Ayaw ko butang ilag dahil diretso nga 1 minus ang point. Ibutang na ninyo nga from the table, your z-score has this value. Kaya nga ba, nangupya na ba na? So, what takibaw nga, 1 minus point something? Wa kaibaw di na ang point something. So, it should be, if after getting the z-score, you can place from the table. Tapara na nimo from the table, this is, mao na value, ibutang na nimo, ikuan nimo. Understood, itapad nimo, understood na nga that is the value of your z-score. Pero kung may value ang z-score, diretso lang dayon, minus, dili na nako checkan, it shows that you are not reading your table. Is that clear to everybody? You read the problem so that you will know what to answer. Yes, any question? Any question, class? Klaro na? Klaro na nga mag-test mo sa Wednesday sa inyong kuan. Para next meeting, we can go on to, after the midterm, we can go on to binomial distribution.
Miss, pila ka word problem sa midterm exam, Miss?
Pila inyo gusto?
Duha mo to, Miss, ha?
Upat?
Duha to, Miss, ha? Di, Miss, duha lang, Miss.
Ha? Duha lang? Oh, okay. Pwede ra.
Pwede na sa disa, Miss.
Ha? Dili pwede.
Joke lang, Miss.
Kaya kung duha ra sad, I will see to it nga daghan-daghan sa question. O sa duha ka question. Ang ikaduha, tulo ka question, lima gyapon. Okay. Wala na question lain? Basta Wednesday ha niya. Then you show your permits before I will submit the grades.
Miss, question, Miss. Kanang permit, Miss, sa Wednesday na ginato kon or
Dili, wadi ka maminaw da. Bagong karon.
Di ako lang pa Miss, okay basig.
Ningon ko ninyo, dili pa ko mo check sa permit kay wala pa ba mo mag-schedule. Di pa jud ang schedule na to is April 1 and 2.
Okay.
So the reason nga akong ihatag na lang kay ang atong schedule wala mo coincide sa 1 and 2. And the reason also kung ato pa course next week mo hatag, we will have to check pila ka mo check and then we'll have to compute for the grades. Nga nami deadline for the submission of the midterm grade. So if it will happen that you cannot show your permit anytime before I will submit the grades, 10 days na after the test. So ang inyong tanong, nakakuha na mag-test na sa akong class record. Kung dili ka submit ako sa akong grade sheet, patawag na akong NG, no grade. Pero naa kay grado sa akong class record. It is because I do not want to give special test. Mao na nga, diri na lang una na sa akong class record, but then you have taken it, pero wala lang na makuan, kay wala ka kasubmit sa imong permit. Mao na akong buti pasabot. Is that clear to everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Copy,
Uy,
Miss.
mga tawag naman.
Ma'am, need ba daw og conclusion, ma'am?
Unsa man?
Ang kanang concluding word sa katong mga graph, ma'am.
Sa
Abot
sa
lang.
conclusion. Sa unsa sa conclusion? Sa karon?
Kaning pangutanan ni Bolante sa chat ng ba, needed ba daw og conclusion?
Unsa man? Uy, klaruha, uy, sulti. Perpetua.
Kay Bolante may nangutana, ma'am.
Unsa isulti ni Bulante lagik?
Need ba daw og conclusion, ma'am?
Oh, kana din imong answer ka nga. Mo answer ang imong di man na conclusion oy. Sa find the probability that an instrument produced by this machine will last less than 7 months. So ang inyong answer na ang katong inyong kuan, answer ninyo After solving, so it needs 0.0062, or you can change it to para nindot tanawon, you have your 0.0062 katong sa letter A. So that is your final answer. Then the probability that an instrument produced by this machine will last less than 7 months is 0.62%. Imo ra man na i-wording so dili lang kay compute nya wa mo kibaw sa inyong gi-compute. So in our answer mula sa to number 3, so letter A, what is the probability that the length of this component is between 4.98 and 5.02 centimeters? Ang inyong answer will be the probability that ay nanoon tong problem na wag tang naman hinoon. The probability that the length of this component is between 4.98 and 5.02 centimeters is 68.28%. Marang, inaana. Dili ka inyo lang biyaan ang inyong answer nga. Kuan, 0.6828, period. Mora na inyo kan. Supposing, checking your papers or your attachment, do not know how to solve. Mag-wonder kung unsa kaning 0.6828, no? So inyo na ang butangan is the probability that it is between 4.98 and 5.02. Pila ra may pag-answer ana to complete your answer. And so that you will know also nga kamoy nag-solve, diba mo unsay inyong gisolve. Dili kay magsibutang na mo tanan-tanan na solve mo. Wala kay mo kibaw unsay inyong gisolve. So that answer that you got is the answer to the question. Okay, what else? What else? Any more question? Any more questions? Basta mauna na unya ikakuan ha. Be sure to pass it before the time para you will have enough time to attach. Bida ba mo? Wa ko ka-attach miss kinawag tang internet kasayon ana sultion. Or wala pa ko kapangtana sa answer. Okay, wala na question? Uy, wala nga tuog na mo?
Wala na siguro, miss.
Okay, matuog na lang ka. Okay. No more problem. So, we'll dismiss the class. Bye, class.
Goodbye, miss.
Bye.